my name is Kat, and today I want to talk about new releases of November and December and my TBR for the rest of the year. Now, there's not a ton of books coming out in the next 2 months, so I decided to combine them for this releases segment. So let's get started with my top 5 most anticipated books of November and December. First up is Winter by Marissa Meyer, and this is out on November 10th. Winter is coming! Are you guys tired of people saying that yet? Because I am, but I also can't help myself. Winter is the 4th and final book in the Lunar Chronicle series, and it's my most anticipated book of the year, and it's almost finally here. It's over 800 pages long, and I'm pretty much just gonna drop everything and read it immediately. Even though it is going to be the December book of the month for BOOKSPLOSION, so I'll be reading it a little bit early, but then I'll still have the live show to look forward to. And that live show is taking place on December 19th, so if you aren't yet caught up on the series, you can still do so, like you have some time. Also, there's a promotion going on right now where if you pre-order Winter, you get some swag. You get shiny Lunar Chronicles tattoos. Also, you get these gloves that have the special fingertips so you can still use your cell phone while you're wearing them, and I just think that's magical. Anyways, I'll go ahead and put the pre-order info in the description along with all of the read-along details. Next up is November 9th by Colleen Hoover, and this is out on November 10th. This is about a girl named Fallon who's getting ready to move across the country, but on her last day in LA, she meets this aspiring novelist named Ben, and they get to know each other, and they start to fall for each other a little bit, and they decide that they're going to meet again on the same date next year, and then the next year, and the next. But as time goes on, Fallon starts to question if Ben is being honest with her, or if he's just fabricating things for the sake of the story. This one sounds really good, and I know Christine has already read and loved it, so I am excited about this. I think it might be my next Colleen Hoover book. Then I have here Soundless by Rochelle Mead, and this is also out on November 10th. This is a standalone fantasy novel with Chinese folklore influences. It's about a girl who lives in this remote village where there is no sound. For generations, everyone is born unable to hear. But then people start to lose their sight, and there's trouble with the shipments that sustain this remote village. But then the main character starts to hear, and she realizes that sound might be the key to solving all these problems. This just sounds really interesting, and I love Rochelle Mead's writing, and it's a standalone fantasy, so I'm in. Next up is Their Fractured Light by Amie Kaufman and Megan Spooner, and this is out on December 1st. This is the 3rd book in the Starbound series, and I did not look at the synopsis because I really enjoyed the first book, These Broken Stars, but I have not yet read the second one, and I don't want to be spoiled. But this is a really cool sci-fi fantasy series, and we do follow different main characters in each book, but I believe in this 3rd installment, all of their stories really start to intertwine, so I'm very much looking forward to that. And finally, I have here Frozen Tides by Morgan Rhodes, and this one is out on December 15th. This is the 4th book in the Falling Kingdom series, and again, I didn't look at the synopsis for this one because I am not yet caught up on the rest of the series. But I want to get caught up. I've heard really good things about this series, and it sounds like something I'm gonna love. It's like a big fantasy series that's been described as YA Game of Thrones, so I need to get into this. It's about time. So there you have the new releases of November and December, and now I want to briefly mention the November book of the month in case you missed it in my previous videos. We will be reading ILLUMINAE by Amie Kaufman and Kristoff. I did already talk about this book in my October releases video and my October book haul, so I'll link both of those down below if you want to know a little bit more, and also down below I'll include all of the read-along info if you're interested in joining us. But yeah, I'm really excited about this one because I've heard nothing but amazing things from reviewers I trust and authors whose opinions I respect, so I feel like this is gonna be a good one. And now I want to talk about my reading plans for the rest of the year, because I have so many books to talk about in this video that I'm gonna need 2 months to get through them all. So here is what I'm planning to read for the rest of 2015. Aside from Winter and ILLUMINAE, which I will definitely be reading, I am gonna try to get to some of the other books and series I already mentioned in this video, but those are not the highest priority for me. The highest priority for me are the books I am currently reading, which are Library of Souls by Ransom Riggs. I'm about 50 pages in, so gotta finish this. Also, I have here Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, Book 1, The Sword of Summer by Rick Riordan, and I'm also about 50 pages into this one, so gotta finish it. Then I have here Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith, and you guessed it, I'm about 50 pages into this one, so I want to finish it. I'm kind of in this weird, not a reading slump, but like reading obsessive cycle where I just keep reading Carry On by Rainbow Rowell over and over and over and over again. So I need to read something that's not that book, even though I just want to read that book. But I think Career of Evil will be the next book I finish because I need something very different from Carry On, and this is very different from Carry On. Then I have my TBR jar, but I also need to play some TBR jar catch-up. I never read the classic earlier this year when that was my TBR jar challenge, so I want to read a classic, probably Pride and Prejudice, because that's what I've been intending. Also, last month my challenge was to read a book you previously gave up on, and I did not complete that. So I want to do that as well, and for this one I'm probably going to read Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. And then I have my final 2 challenges in here. So, here we go. Can you see? Can you see them? Can you see them? So my November challenge is to listen to an audiobook, and this is kind of perfect because I got the Carry On audiobook, so I can have a reason to listen to it again. I mean, I will get a new Audible credit in November, so I could listen to something else, or I could listen to Carry On again. I'm already listening to it for the 2nd time, but I have a problem. And that means that my challenge for December is to finish a series. And I actually really like this challenge in December because, like, end of a series, end of the year, I don't know, I like it. Actually, these 2 challenges, along with the 2 challenges that I previously did not complete, kind of leads me nicely to my book bucket list challenge. At the beginning of the year, I made a video all about books that I wanted to read in 2015, and I've actually done surprisingly well, I think. There were 15 books on this list, and I have read most of them, but I need to get through a couple more to just complete this challenge. 2 books on this list were Pride and Prejudice and Fahrenheit 451, which I already mentioned I wanted to get to those, so got a nice 2-for-1 challenge deal going on here. I also wanted to read The Kane Chronicles by Rick Riordan, and if I can get through that entire trilogy, that would count toward the TBR jar challenge of finishing a series. I also wanted to read Game of Thrones, and I actually started listening to the audiobook for that a couple months ago, but then I stopped because it was like a 40-hour audiobook and it was quite the commitment, but I think I'm ready to commit, and if I do that, if I listen to the audiobook, then that would count toward the audiobook challenge. I mean, I still will probably listen to Carry On again, but Also Game of Thrones! And finally, I also wanted to get to the Poison Study series by Maria V. Snyder. And I don't remember in that video if I mentioned wanting to read the entire series or just the first book, but I at least want to read the first book this month or next month, this rest of the year. So yeah, altogether, that's a decent amount of books that I'm gonna be trying to read here. But if I want to complete my 100 book challenge, then I need to read like 35 books in the next 2 months. And let's be real, that's not likely. But if I can complete my TBR jar challenge and my book bucket list challenge, I will be very happy with that because it's still challenging, but feasible. At least more feasible than reading a book every other day for the next 2 months. So we'll see how it goes. I've made my peace with failing the 100 book challenge again because I don't think I'm gonna get there, but I am still gonna try to read a lot and try to finish these other 2 challenges I have a-going. But yeah, that is gonna be it for this video today, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you have a great night, and I will have another video up soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye!